Okay, so why this trek? This is going to be, a tough one in the sense that, so many things going in my head right now. And, so one of the things that I've always struggled, possibly most of my life, except for maybe 3, 4 years, has been the weight that I have. And you can actually, I think, you can definitely call me fat. You can kind of tending towards obese, I guess. But that's been a big cause of concern for, of course, everybody. I mean, in the family. Uh, Unfortunately, not as much as for me. You know, uh, Unfortunately, or maybe it is what it is, right? So I know I keep using that all the time. So I really wanted to figure out a way to get fit in a way that I enjoy myself. Of course, I did kind of start training with Amol, you know, 6 months back, thanks to friends and family who introduced me to him. And he's been a fab guy. I mean, the kind of fitness that he's got me to this point. Not that I'm completely fit, but I think what he's done is just fabulous. And so thanks, Amol, if you're listening to this, watching this video. I wouldn't have been practically been able to make this to the starting point if you wouldn't have trained me. I mean, I would have still possibly come here, not knowing what to expect. But I think I at least expect a bit more than I would have otherwise. And so that was, I think, a great change. And Amol is just magical, as a trainer. And and then when I kind of started to think about, how, I mean, I really didn't want to do fitness as the primary outcome, but I kind of wanted to do something that I really enjoy myself. But the fitness kind of comes as a side effect. I mean, that's the best thing, right? I mean, if you can actually get fitness as a side outcome, while the enjoyment is the main outcome, possibly everybody would be fit if that happened. So when I kind of asked my question on how do I do that, and well, one of the ways came to my mind, I think, with many things, right? I mean, sometimes there's no reason how things fall in place. I think it's just a design of the universe. Well, you can say that that's an excuse for not having to explain it logically, but those of you who believe in the ways of life and the designs of life, I hope at least understand to some extent what I'm trying to say. So this whole concept of hiking and mountaineering is something that really caught my nerve. And the more I watched, I guess, YouTube videos, and I think it's the first time in my life I actually appreciate YouTube, in the sense that you can actually use it for something really good and positive to motivate yourself, to motivate others. And of course, there's a lot of good content out there, and sometimes, I mean, a lot of time pass content as well. So, but again, it's our choice, right, in terms of what we choose. So, about I think at the start of the year, uh, this actually happened. I think in Jan or Feb in 2021, when I went to Goa, took my family so I could work from Goa because of Corona, and and I think we were there for about 10 days. We were there initially for 5 days. We extended it to 10 days, and I think I ended up working like 14, 15, 16 hours every single day. And even the last day, the next day morning, when we were planning to leave at about 7 o'clock in the morning back to Pune is where I stay. I think I was working till about 3 or 4 in the morning. And also I was doing a course from MIT, so on artificial intelligence, I had to complete that. So it was bad. And I think when I was driving back, I mean, I think I kind of reached a point where I was like, I've had enough. And this is, I keep thinking about the fact that I need to get fit, more fit than I am, and I need to get better there. But and of course I prioritize something else all the time. So how? And and I think when we were after we had crossed Satara, you know, when you start seeing the Shayadri hills, there's some beautiful hills, and of course it was green and nice, and I still remember some of those hills in my mind right now, and it kind of somewhere dawned that this is something that's such a nice way to kind of climb and achieve, and of course fitness comes as a side product. And I think it kind of also clicked because I've always loved to walk since my childhood, and I've done treks in Australia, India, many of them. Uh, I mean, somewhere it kind of stayed with me. So kind of said, why am I not doing this? I mean, why am I not taking seriously? And I still remember, I kept thinking about it, and then my the office where I work at, they wanted to me to write an article about leadership, and they had given me about 7 or 8 questions. I answered those 7 or 8 questions, and one of the questions was, "What's your plan for 2021?" And out of nowhere, I wrote mountaineering. I had no clue about what the hell is mountaineering, what the hell is hiking and trekking, and what's the difference between all the three. Anyways, I did write mountaineering. Of course, what I'm doing right now, it's not mountaineering, it's more of trekking, possibly hiking, and hopefully more of trekking as we go to the heights. Uh, and that's one of the things that I've always believed in. If you want to do something, you got to make it public. A lot of people say don't don't talk about things unless you achieve them, because otherwise people will laugh at you if you don't achieve them. And I'm just the other way around, and I kind of say, look, if you want to do something, announce that you're gonna announce that you're gonna do it. And in a lot of ways, people keep asking you and reminding you about, hey, you said that, are you doing it? And that's it. And then a lot of other people who come forward and offer you help, and say, hey, I've done that. If you want some information, come back and ask me. And I think that's a brilliant way to just go public about your plans, and because you get help from quarters that you never would have thought. And I did get a lot of help from the company where I'm working right now. I'm not taking the name of the company where I'm working right now because I don't know if I'm authorized officially to talk about it when I'm doing a personal video. But anyways, if you want to know, you can always go to LinkedIn and find me, Uh, but better to, when you don't know, you better say, I don't know, right? So that's how it all started off. And then, of course, when you start watching the videos of people climbing Mount Everest, people doing the Annapurna Trek, it's just an amazing, it just gets to you, I guess. Or let me put it this way, it got to me. There's a lot of the dogs talking to each other out here in Besisahar. Okay, thanks guys. I hope they rest now. No, they don't. So that's how it started off, guys, and I really hope this whole trek of mine which I'm doing right now, is enjoyable, and of course I get to lose a bit of my fat. Hopefully, let's see. You know, but either ways, I think it's a trek of a lifetime. I think everybody should do. I know I'm not done it yet, but I'm still talking about it. Just the preparation is takes a lot. I mean, the amount of the kind of workouts that, of course, Amol put me through was fab. Uh, the amount of time that I've spent researching about the gear is crazy. Buying stuff. I mean, initially when I thought about trekking or hiking, I was like, oh, just pick up a bag and walk. I mean, that's what I used to do all the time. But this is different. I mean, Annapurna is very, very different because one, of course, you have to prepare for all the three. You got to prepare for all the three seasons, which is extreme summer. Besisahar today it was 29 degrees, but it felt like 39. I was looking at the weather report, and it was so humid, so sultry. It was crazy. And then, of course, you got to prepare for heavy showers, heavy rain. Um, and third, of course, you have to prepare for heavy snow and snowstorms. I don't know whether it was in 2012 or 2000. I don't know, but that was when I think there's about 40 trekkers died on a single day because there was this freak snowstorm that hit because of a few clouds from a cyclone in Bay of Bengal coming all the way to Nepal, and 40 folks died. And I've been kind of also debating about whether you should do a lightweight hike, or kind of carry everything that you need. And I kind of decided in saying, look, I'll keep safety as priority, and I'll take whatever clothing is required, for those just in case situations. I've seen a lot of Everest videos, and a lot of the people unfortunately had to go through a bad time or never come back because because they gave their emotions more priority to the intelligence. And while I understand, yes, it's fun to carry 7 kgs of luggage and walk, there's no way you can keep yourself safe with a 7 kg backpack. I mean, you can't carry the gear that you need for the just in case situations. At least I'm not a person who would take that kind of a risk. I guess I've never been. And so initially I was like, oh, let's pick up a bag and go. And then over time I kind of realized that, and then thanks to everything that's out there on YouTube, that I need to prep, I need to stay safe. And initially I had plans of doing it a solo. And somewhere, I think once I reached Kathmandu or somewhere towards the, end of those days, the last few days when I was in India before I came to Nepal, I started to think about, hey, should I really have a guide, a comporter? And I decided to go for that. I think it's a wise thing to do. I think it's really foolish to think that you know everything, you can manage everything. You don't. There are people who know of things that you don't. Just to give you an example, from Manang, you actually go to a Tilocha lake where there are 6 or 7 spots where there's high probability of landslides. And so I was like, yeah, let's take the risk. And what Sujan said was, if you really want to do Tilocha Lake, which is I think the world's highest lake, he said you got to, uh, start at 4 a.m. in the morning. And every single video that I see, folks are walking at about 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of a thing. And And I was like, why at 4 a.m.? Because I mean, and his response was the fact that that's the time when your ice was frozen, so there's a and so it's not melting. There's no water flowing into the mud, so there's a lesser probability of course, landslides early in the morning. And I knew, I had heard about that. I mean, the fact that, especially if you're crossing a stream, it's the best is to do it early in the morning because it's not hot, the ice is not melting as much, so it's much better to cross a stream early in the morning. So people actually stay back the whole night, and early in the morning they cross a stream, just to kind of be safe. And but I had not correlated it with landslides, and that I think was a very important input to me, and it's those small things that really matter at the end of the day. So I would recommend take a guide, and I think you should have a second pair of eyes is always helpful. If you can afford, do that. I mean, of course, I haven't come with other my friends whom I had wanted to come with, but couldn't happen. They had other priorities at home and work. Uh, so Gurbans, miss you. Nishant, I miss you. And the other kind of wisdom that I learned from again YouTube is that, especially if you're going on a narrow piece of path, by the mountain, and then if there are goats or sheep or cattle that come, generally what happens is, we human beings, we give way to the cattle because we want them to pass. And then, but a lot of people, what they do is they kind of step towards the valley and let the cattle pass, which is dangerous because, one push and then you're done. So one of the simplest things to do is to just, step towards the mountain, let the cattle pass, from, closer to the valley, the path closer to the valley. So things as simple as that, can make a lot of difference to what happens to you. And I hope to capture a lot of those learnings. And look, at the end of the day, uh, you got to take a bit of risk, right? I mean, life is also about how your mind functions, how you function as a system in those moments of high risk, right? In those moments where you have to make a split second decision. And I think that's the challenge, which is there in some of these situations. And you got to be able to think and prepare and do some risk management even before some of these occur, because in those circumstances what to do. Of course, you cannot be ready for every single situation that's out there, but as many as possible, right? As many as possible. So that's why this particular trek, uh, I am hoping I'll get about 20 to 25 days of trekking time, which should be a super good number of days. And I'm sure I'm going to return back with a lot more energy to do more and more treks. So that's about it, guys. So I mean, look, the other important question is, why the hell am I recording these videos? And will it make a difference to anybody? Will people appreciate? Will there be comments about the fact that I'm doing a video recording on bad lighting, the fact that I'm sitting close to a road and vehicles passing by, and couldn't I have done it in my room? Look, here's the thing, right? I mean, there's so much that I've learned from fellow trekkers on YouTube. I think that if there are, and I know there are a few people on YouTube that I connect to very well. Like, for example, Sharvana Kumar from India in Motion. I think he's fab. he's too good. I mean, and there's a sense of genuinity. There's a sense of uniqueness in the whole way he does his videos. And look, I'm not here to build a fan following or blah blah blah. I mean, I'm just looking at saying, look, there's this some information I've got, I'm learning, and here's what I have to share. If there's some folks who can connect with that and can find some of the stuff useful, why not, right? So it's as simple as that. Yeah, of course, yeah, I need to get better in the video making process. I need to get better in the video recording. I have no clue how the audio is going to come because I've never done it before. I was actually thinking maybe this should be the first video that I upload. Who cares, right? Just get it done and then you improve as you go. So I'm sure there's more questions we'll talk about, we'll answer. I don't know if I'll be able to upload any new videos in the near future because it all depends on how's the bandwidth in the places that we go to next. But let's hope some videos do come in, right? I've got to shave tomorrow morning and get started. So tomorrow 5:30, guys, wake up, pack up, breakfast, head out 7. Yeah. So day 1, Besisahar, Kathmandu to Besisahar. Great travel. There's a separate video on that which I'll upload. But thanks a lot, guys, for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you find something useful. I hope a few of you get inspired. Get out of your comfort zones. Do something that makes you experience something good beyond what you've done so far. Life's got so much more in store for all of us, provided we're willing to step out. I'll see you soon. Bye.